Running.
Yeah, so I was going to do is let it run. I'll edit it, man. I've seen a monkey before somewhere. I've got one out, I've seen a work with it.
Well, how's this? How did this happen?
It just happened, man. That's what happens when you're a rock star. This shit happens. You use fingerpicks? You know what?
Oh, great.
He's too positive. Play some tunes.
Okay.
Show off a little.
Yeah.
But alrighty. Good evening, folks. We've got a bit of a special one tonight. I've got a local blues legend on the lounge, and his name's Gwyn Ashtons, and he's just touring Australia at the moment and just come from Europe, and shit hot blues player, as you've just seen.
And it's your guitar.
And it's my guitar.
And picks.
Alright, so I've never done an interview before. This is where we're going to start.
Okay.
Who's Gwyn Ashtons?
Well,
Where'd you start out? What are you doing?
I started in Adelaide a long time ago. I actually started playing guitar in Whyalla in 1972. And I grew up in Adelaide, lived in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, and Europe, Britain. And I come home every Christmas to do a bit of a tour and sort of hang out down the beach.
And you thought you'd come to Loventhal and hang out on a lounge while you're here?
I just regularly get on Marketplace and buy a pedal and...
And I regularly go on Marketplace and sell a pedal and shit happens.
Yeah. So
good.
This is very spontaneous, so I have no idea what he's going to ask me. But
could get weird.
You can ask me anything you like, I don't mind.
Well, first up, man, you just said you started in Adelaide, and it's like...
Yep.
How did you progress from Adelaide? What was the story? Because you're living the dream of a lot of Adelaide musicians. You're the guy who started doing what I'm doing now with the pub gigs and things like that, and you've expanded way out.
Well, it was kind of the back end of 1983. My band was kind of falling apart, as they do. And there was an ad in the local music press. A Sydney band wanted a guitar player.
Yeah, right.
And a rock and roll band. I thought, I'll go for it. You know, I've got nothing to lose. And I got the gig. You know, they were Adelaide boys. Back in the day. They got me to move over to Sydney and put this band together called Magna Carta. And it didn't really do much. It was a great little band, it was a lot of fun. And so that got me over to Sydney. Didn't last too long. I moved to the Cross. We had the band house, and then I moved out and we did argue a lot. So anyway, I ended up in King's Cross, which I loved, and in 1985 I got a gig with Swanee.
Yeah.
I tried out for Rose Tattoo a couple of times because
right.
Rob Riley was leaving, and that was a lot of fun. So they hauled me back in, you know, come and have a second audition. I went, I'd like this. And I wasn't playing slide guitar at that stage.
Yeah.
They still had Peter Wells in the band, I think. I'm pretty sure they did. It was a Scarred for Life kind of time. They just got back from America.
Yeah.
I didn't get the gig, but that's okay. I had my own thing going on.
Yeah.
I wasn't really writing that much at that stage. I had a few songs, but I was young. I just wanted to get out and rock and roll.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know the value and the importance of writing your own stuff, which I learned later.
Yeah.
And I was 23 years old, you know. I was just like,
yeah,
I'm new in town.
A lot of that writing comes later too.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you've got to have something to write about,
yeah.
you know. So I eventually moved back to Adelaide in '91 for a year. That's where I used to play the Co Club and did all the dives, Century Hotel, whatever, any gig that came
Anything
up.
that would come, yeah.
I had a little band together called Dirty Tricks, and we played around town. Billy Thorpe came to town at one stage. I was playing the Century, and he brought Mick Fleetwood in, and he said, "Oh, can we get Mick up to play with you?" I went, "Yeah." Hold me back.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And I played the Co Club, and we had guys from Cheap Trick come down and hang out, and all sorts of people when they were in town.
So you were getting connections all over the place, isn't it?
I was networking, and I didn't even really know it.
Yeah, it was naturally happening.
Yeah. And then I moved to Melbourne, played with Jim Keys for a while, played on 2 of his albums.
So what was the move to Melbourne? How'd you do that? Like you just, it was working for you?
My old drummer from Stevie and Swanee, John Layla, he was in Melbourne, and he contacted me. He said, "Hey, I got this band, you know, we need a guitar player. Do you want to come over and play?" I went, "Why not?" But nothing else to do. Yeah.
Cool.
Because I'd done the Adelaide Traps, and I didn't want to just keep playing the same old places all the time. It was time to move on and have a change.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for anybody that's contemplating a career in music, is go to as many places as you can. You know, head towards where the music is happening that you're into.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty important. And then I was there for 5 years, and then I released my first 2 albums on Shock Records, and Shock called me in Melbourne and said, "You're selling more records in Europe, Germany and Holland."
And so another door open.
Yeah, they said, "You should go live in Europe." I went, "I don't know anybody in Europe," you know.
Yeah.
And I had a British passport. And then a week later, I was having lunch with Peter Wells, a great slide player from the Tats, and he said, "You know what, you should go to Europe." And I went, "Yeah, okay, well, that's been suggested." And then another week later, we were playing at Young and Jackson, my band. We had a residency every Saturday night.
Yeah.
And we had this fella come along, he's playing harmonica with it, and we were rocking and rolling. There's some stuff on YouTube, you can check it out.
We'll put links.
Early 90s.
Yeah, cool.
He said, "Oh, my sister's coming tonight, she's just come over from England." And I went, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And so she said to me, "Anytime you want to come to England, I've got a place you can stay."
Door open.
Yeah, so that was 3 indications that I needed to sort of go over.
Yeah.
And I did. I was a long time fan of Rory Gallagher.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of other classic guitar players. Yeah. Rory was one of my guys, you know.
Yeah.
Played a show with him at the Old Line, 91. Okay, before that, I decided to throw all my stuff on a ship.
Yeah.
I had amps and a few guitars and just all my stuff. One-way ticket to Europe.
Yeah, right.
To England. I had an address.
All in.
I had an address. I had my 1936 National in a gig bag, in a double bag.
Yeah.
And a 1963 Stratocaster, and I took that. I thought, well, I'm going to go through America. Well, I'll just fly to Los Angeles and fly out of New York. I'll give myself 5 weeks to have a look around.
Bit of a tour.
Yeah. So I sold most of my stuff, and I just kept the really cool stuff that I got, which I've still got most of it. And I did my last gig. It was a Sunday night at Joey's Bar in Melbourne, and there was a woman there said, "If you ever want to play a gig," she was from America, in Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard. She said, "Got a gig for you." And I thought, okay, well, I'll do that one gig. So I thought, okay, I'll fly to LA, just work out week by week where I'm going to land.
Yeah.
So I had that one gig booked. So I got to Los Angeles, and I was supposed to stay with a friend of a friend, and that didn't happen. And so I got my car from the airport. I thought, where am I going to go? I'm in Los Angeles. So I thought, I'm just going to, this is before mobile phones, so I was really in the...
Yeah, you're out on a wire.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, well...
Sink or swim.
this is the adventure. So I went to a motel. So it was just a cheap-looking motel.
Yeah.
I went in there and they said, okay, well, it's like a dormitory sort of place, you know, you're in a room with a whole bunch of people, or you can have a single room to yourself. And I thought, well, I got my guitars on me, very valuable instruments, I'm going to have a single room for a night. So I was a bit jet lagged and went out on the pool table. I'm going to give you the whole lot because these are
it's
great
one of those
stories.
random things
I
that
thought,
just keep going.
Well, when I was at Joey's and wherever, I used to hustle a bit on the table. So a guy comes out, he said, I'm the manager of this place. He said, how are you in town? I said, just tonight, just for a week, you know, really in town. He said, I was going to give you a job hustling on the pool table.
No shit.
I love doing this, but I want to play my guitar.
Yeah, I've got an idea here that I want to do. Yeah.
So I stayed, the guy that I was supposed to stay with through another friend in Hollywood, he had other people come over from Australia, so I couldn't stay there. So he said, I've got another friend, you can stay with him. So I stayed with him, went to a jam night that night, and I just met all these people. And it's just amazing. I love going to the States. I was there for a week, made all these really cool contacts that I still keep in touch with most of those people, which is really good.
Right.
Then I went to San Francisco, stayed with another friend of a friend. I was really tired one night.
Were you getting gigs then?
No, I wasn't looking for gigs. You can't. I didn't have a work permit or anything. But I was there with a suitcase and all my CDs, but they were like a spindle of CDs, and because I didn't want to get done by customs for importing CDs. So I had a spindle and I go to Tower Records and I buy plastic jewel cases. This is when there were record shops.
Yeah.
And I'd assemble CDs in the back of my rental car and go to jam nights and sell them for $10 each. and people were buying them. And
so when you're
great.
not hustling the pool table.
Yeah. So I thought, I'm onto something here. So I was staying at people's houses. Then I thought, I'm going to go to San Francisco for a week. So I got up there, went to some jam nights. And one night I was really tired and I thought, am I going to go out? I'll go back to the house I'm staying at. I flipped a coin, literally flipped a coin.
Yeah.
Heads go to the jam night, tails go to bed. Because I was like, whoa. I'm still jet lagged from my trip last week.
Yeah.
And so I went to this jam night and this guy was sort of watching me all night. And he's an Oriental sort of fella. And I thought, something there. I just felt.
Yeah.
Anyway, he came up to me at the end of the night and he gave me his card. He said, excuse me, I'm Bobby Murray. I play guitar with Etta James.
No
and I think
shit.
my record label in New York City would really like what you do. And I went, oh, thanks.
Okay.
So I took it and I rang them up the next day and I sent them a couple of CDs. They organised a gig in New York, so I had a gig in New York. In the meantime, I went through Austin, Texas, met a whole bunch of people there.
Yeah.
I won't go into great detail, but...
The snowball was happening.
Yeah, and I played the gig on Martha's Vineyard at the Red Duck, or the Lamppost. Well, I can't remember what it was called. This is like more than 30 years ago. Did the gig that they lined up. I had a meeting with them and they gave me some content. Where are you going? I said, London. And they said, why?
In a roundabout way.
They were saying, you should be in Seattle, you should be in Los Angeles, or you should be in New York. You know, what? Don't. And I said, well, all my stuff's on a freight ship.
I forgot that. It's in a boat going to
On
England.
a boat going to England. One way, you know, I can't just divert that.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, well, here's some contacts in London. I've never told this story to anybody before.
Woohoo!
Here's some contacts
First
in London.
people.
Exactly. You got an exclusive.
An exclusive tonight.
And one was Jerry McAvoy from Rory Gallagher's band, the bass player. And
Cool.
the other, Pete Brown.
And that's perfect for you.
Yeah. I'm a
Perfect.
huge Rory fan. And one with Pete Brown, who wrote the lyrics to Sunshine of Your Love and White Room with Cream with Jack Bruce,
Yeah.
67. So I rang them both up. As soon as I got to London, you know, get over jet lag by a car, smash the car up. I drove down a one-way street the wrong way and a police car was in pursuit and he wrote my car off and I didn't get charged. In fact, I was trying to get out, I couldn't get out the door and I got out the passenger side and this guy comes over and said, I saw what happened from my club, are you okay? And I was like
Dazed and confused, yeah.
I was
And probably
really,
jet-lagged.
yeah, I was still jet lagged, and I was like, what club? He said, oh, I've got the Acoustic Cafe. Do you have live music on? And he said, yeah, I do. I got a residency at the Acoustic Cafe in London.
I love it.
Because my car got written off by a cop car.
Love it.
So that was kind of funny. Anyway, Rory had passed away the year before. This was '96, and I rang Jerry McAvoy, and he said, "Would you like to join our band of friends?" No. First of all, he came out, and we just got together, had a cup of tea, whatever. And then I put a little trio together, and my first drummer in England was Clive Bunker from Jethro Tull, and he played on Aqualung and all those great albums back in the 70s. But it never really worked, so I went over to Amsterdam for a trip, and I got kicked out of a jazz club because
Too loud.
Too blues.
Too blues.
Yeah, and
So
I got up and played with some local guys in Amsterdam, and the drummer said, "Are we gonna do this technical jargon that I don't understand?" And I said, "No, we're just gonna do a 12-bar blues shuffle. Let's have some fun." So I launched into that. People were dancing on the tables, and I got asked to leave because I incited
started a riot.
this.
We don't want that sort of thing here.
So, exactly. So then I walked out of that bar, and there was another bar there called Bourbon Street, and I walked in there, and there was nobody in there, but there was a band from a guitar player from Texas. Jack Morgan was his name. He's passed away, and I noticed his drummer was great, and I thought, I need this guy. This guy really knows what he's doing. All the Chicago shuffles and the Texas stuff and the funk and
Yep.
and he was a crazy guy, big eyes on stage. His name's Michael Wiedrich, and I approached him. I said, "Are you just in this band?" He said, "Oh no, man, this is the last night of the tour. Jack's going home. I've got nothing to do after this." And I went, "Do you want to come to London?" And he said, "Why not?" So he comes over, and then I've got this band, and he brings his bass player over because I couldn't find anybody that I wanted. And his bass player, Eno Blade Zipper, real name Rene Mesritz, spelled his first name backwards because he was a member of Frank Zappa's old band,
Yeah,
the
right.
Mothers of Invention. But that they were the grandmothers at this stage because Zappa had died, and it was being fronted by Jimmy Carl Black, who was a drummer from the Mothers of Invention, but he was now singing. He was doing the Zappa parts. He said, "I don't want to be setting up the drum kit anymore. I just want to be out the front."
Yep.
So I stole him, and we put this trio together. I was playing in London. This French guy approached me, and he said, "Oh, I love the band. You know, what are you doing?" And they ended up putting a record company together to represent me in Medem at the music festival, and sold me to Virgin Records
Right.
in France. And then I got this great massive Virgin deal in the late 90s. I was talking to Jerry McAvoy at this stage, and he come out to see us play, and he said, "Do you want to make a record?" And I went, "Yeah." And so we got together. It was Jerry McAvoy, Brendan O'Neill, and Dennis Greaves, who's the lead singer with 9 Below Zero, still is. Great English R&B band along the Dr. Feelgood sort of R&B sort of thing. And we made Fang It in London. This was 99, and then Jerry said to me, "Look, we've got this band of friends, which we're celebrating the music of Rory. We've done one gig. Would you be interested in joining?" And I thought, that's great. And I said, who were you playing with before? And he said, "Well, we had Brian Robertson from Thin Lizzy and Motorhead, and Robbie McIntosh on slide guitar, and he played with Paul McCartney and John Mayer."
Yeah, right. So a little
more
bit of
recently.
pedigree there.
Yeah, and I went, well, that's not a high pressure gig. I better get this right. The band lasted about 5 years and we played all over Europe and whatnot. The band of friends are still together now, you know, they've got other guys they play with. And I put another band together at this stage. This is going back going forward a few years.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of stuff in Europe at that stage, playing with the Yardbirds and the Trogs and Slade and the Sweet. Johnny Winter toured with him.
No shit. Oh, I love Johnny.
Yeah, one of my favourite, of course.
Yeah. So at this stage, what sort of music were you doing? Was it your music or was it
rock and blues? Rock and blues.
Was it covers?
No, it was all my own stuff.
What was your stuff? Yeah, because I wondered when you started writing.
Yeah. Well, when I started writing was when I was in Melbourne in the early '90s. I got this gig at Joey's bar, and Joey came up to me, and he can I swear?
No.
Okay. It was a Thursday night residency that he gave me. And he said, "Get out here, I want to talk to you." I went. So he dragged me out on the balcony. "What the fuck are you playing?" And I said, and we were doing like Hendrix, Cream, there's covers, a couple of my songs. And I said, "Oh, you know," because he had a bunch of covers. He said, "I don't want you playing fucking covers." He said, "Play your own shit. You got 2 weeks to get a set together of your own stuff, or I'm gonna fire your ass."
That's cool as hell.
I know, that really.
Where do you get that?
I know. But okay, right, I'll do that. And then I thought, I need to make a record. So I made my first album, went to Shock Records in Melbourne, and they gave me a distribution deal. And 6 months later, it was that whole, you got to move to Europe thing, because you're selling.
So by the time you were going through the States and then over to England, mate, you were doing originals already?
Yeah.
So
There's no point to go over there to play covers.
That's what I was just going to say. You wouldn't have got the opportunities being a covers guy, would you?
No, I left that bit out by mistake.
No, that's all right. Because obviously I do originals as well.
I'll backtrack.
Yeah, that's fine, man. We can jump. But you know, I'm thinking out in my head because that's something I've always I love original music. It's just my thing.
Well, it's good and bad original music, but yeah. But the more you write, the better you get. You know?
Yeah. No, you do. You just polish it and you find your own feet and you know. But the thing is, I don't see, like when you talk about these adventures you're doing and that, and it's like covers takes you to a level where you basically there's a ceiling. That's how I look at it. Well,
it's great to learn from. You got to play covers to learn song arrangement, harmony, melodies, chord structures. You have to play other people's music to understand how.
Yeah, it's like a language. It's like you've got something to stand on.
Yeah, and it's really important. You need to learn various techniques and whatever, and you've got to entertain people and whatnot. But there needs to be a point where if you want to take it seriously and you want to do something with it, you really have to have your own voice. And even playing guitar, I never really sat down and learnt all the Hendrix stuff or whatever. I'd learn the chords and then I'd try and just fumble my way around a solo because I never wanted to actually.
I'm the same. You don't want to be note for note, and you don't want to be a perfect representation. You want to take the language and speak something else with it. Yeah,
and I really admire a lot of people who do, recording artists who they've got hits and whatever, and they put a cover in the set, and it's just like, wow, what a great idea for that song.
Yeah. I love what you did with that. Yeah, for sure.
And I discovered a guy in London, an American guitar player, Chris Whitley, played one of these guitars, and I went to see him play a bunch of times. He'd do a few covers, but he'd completely rip them apart, So you didn't barely recognise the songs.
Yeah, but still of a quality.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing.
He was great player. And then he died. It's sad. It was just like, somebody I really believe in. It's, I only found out, I got on the internet one night, I wonder when Chris Whitley's coming back to London. He died. last year.
Bugger.
It's just like, oh, you gotta be joking.
Yeah. That's sad, man. I remember when Stevie Ray Vaughan died feeling like that. It was like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah.
Because you want to see where he's going, and it's like...
I know.
It was like...
Yeah,
man.
man.
Something got ripped out here, you know?
I've had some really close opportunities. I'm from Wales originally, and we were... when I got in, I was ringing around everywhere trying to get gigs, and we got this gig at the Tory Delta Blues Club in Swansea, and I spoke to this fella called Terry, and I went, oh yeah, and he said, oh, we'd love to have you come down, you know, you sound just like the sort of music we like, and I get there and blah blah blah. Turns out it's Terry Williams, who played drums with Rockpile and with Dave Edmonds. He's on Girls Talk, and he played with Dire Straits.
Oh shit.
He's on, you know, played Live Aid with Dire Straits. Anyway, we've become really good friends, and we're like a regular band that plays there every couple of months. So it's great. So he said, would you like to come down and play our Christmas party? This was one year, it was 25 years ago now.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. He said, oh, we got a little support band for you, you know, they're really good. I went, great. So I get there, I'm running a bit late, and I'm trying to get the gear in, because, you know, I've driven there, and it's like, oh, traffic, oh, sweat. Get to the gig, don't want to be late.
Yeah.
And he introduces me to the other band. He says, oh, this is blah, blah, blah. I went, oh, hi, how are you? Shook his hand. I said, oh, look, I'm sorry, I'm really in a hurry to get my gear in. This fella's bringing a speaker box in, an old Vox speaker cabinet, and a Budgie stencil on the back. And I said, I remember them. My grandfather told me about them, you know, as a joke, because I joke around a lot. I get in so much trouble, especially in Adelaide, for making jokes. Don't ever joke in Adelaide.
Don't,
no. Anyway, so he laughed, and he walked past again. I said, where'd you steal that box from? He said, oh, it's mine. I said, what's your name? He said, Burke. Yeah. And I said, Burke Shelley? He said, yeah, Burke Shelley from Budgie. You know, the singer, bass player from Budgie. It's just like one of my favourite bands.
And you didn't know
Rory Gallagher, ZZ Top and Budgie were
they're the ones.
They were the guys. So anyway, Burke really likes the show. He hung around all night, and he said, here's another near miss. So he came up to me and said, would you like to join Budgie if we might be looking for a guitar player, and we want to keep a Welsh person in the band.
Yeah, right.
Because our guy might be leaving with Simon Lee's, and Simon and I are really good friends on Facebook, you know.
Yeah.
He said, that was me, you know, because I was relaying the story one night.
Yeah.
And he gave me this Budgie Live in San Antonio CD and said, look, learn all the songs, come to our gig next week in London. We're playing our big show in London.
Yeah.
So I went, it's just like, this is one of my favourite bands. I'll buy an SG and I'll buy a Marshall. I don't care. I'll go into debt. I want this gig. But Craig Goldie got the gig from Dio. You know, they went to Los Angeles and...
Gold.
He's not Welsh.
They made an exception.
What happened to my gig? I got ripped off.
Yeah.
So that was the late 90s, and at this time we were touring with Status Quo, and we did 15 arena shows around Britain.
Yeah, right.
And the last gig was at Wembley Stadium, or Wembley Arena, not the stadium.
Yeah.
And Francis came up and said, do you write all your own songs? And I said, yeah. The guy that they wrote with, I can't remember his name because I'm not a huge Quo fan, but I like him. He's not writing with us anymore, and we need another songwriter to work with.
Yeah, right.
And I was having a mental blank at the time for writing, and I blew that opportunity. And so I went to see Francis a few times at his house. And he showed me around. He got an Olympic-sized pool in the backyard, you know, under a huge indoor pool, you know. So this is why I have to go on tour every year. I've got to pay for this.
You've got to pay for this.
Yeah. So there you go. That was
must be
some of my highlights, you know.
Well, that's quite
I've
a
had some
real
lowlights too.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, it's not all going to be, rosy.
No, but
I mean, the theme is you say yes a lot.
You have to grab opportunity. You have to go, even if you don't think you're really. I mean, you have to be realistic, but
But
also,
the door opens, you got to go in it anyway.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, you jump in the deep end of the pool or something and you swim.
Well, I was pretty confident. You have to be confident. There has to be an even balance of confidence and
talent. Yeah.
Yeah, but
like you want competence
and reality as well.
Yeah.
I went over there on a mission to conquer the world, and I certainly haven't done that. But I've had a lot of fun.
I was going to say, man, it sounds like an awesome adventure.
Yeah, and I come back here to Adelaide every year and
hang out in Labourville.
Yeah. My old hometown. I used to live on the street.
That's crazy, man. When was that?
79.
Okay.
No, 70.
It probably hasn't changed much.
76. 76, 77.
It would have changed much, would it?
Not a lot, no.
Not a lot. So anyway, you just toured Europe now, Mr.
Yeah.
Highlights Reel still going.
I drive all over Europe.
Yeah.
Just did some gigs in Croatia, Slovakia, Hungary, Poland. Well, not Poland this year, Poland last year.
So there's blues everywhere.
Germany. Yeah.
What's your favourite place to play, do you think? Like, where do you really enjoy gigs?
The place that gives me the most money.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
No, I like
Where's the blues fans around it,
Well, I really like doing the little gigs.
Yeah.
Where I can just go in there and just
do
crank
your
it.
thing. Yeah.
And play, and people appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I don't care where it is.
Yeah.
As long as people
are having a good time.
Yeah.
And they're having a good time with your music.
Yeah. You got to have fun doing it.
Yeah. That's something I struggle with. I've said it on my channel and people give me shit on my channel for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I find it hard to have fun playing.
Oh.
I mean, I want to.
Sure. Well,
I enjoy it afterwards when I pulled it off, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, the stage can be a frightening place because your ass is on the line every night. You've got to deliver something.
I find solo like that. I think that's why I wanted to do solo. Solo was always terrifying for me.
Yeah.
Because, every mistake is heard. It's like that.
There's no drummer to hide behind.
There's nothing there. You fuck it up. You really fuck it up.
In fact, my new show is it's triple terrifying because
you're doing all sorts.
I'm playing the drums with my feet, and I got to think drummer. I split the sound. And play bass with my thumb, and it goes through an amp, and bass amp, and I've got to play bass lines with my thumb. And
so literally, you got to switch your brain off and make it just.
But the other night I broke a bass drum pedal. I mean.
Oh yeah, who does that?
Yeah, and so I'm playing, and I've got no bass drum pedal, and I'm playing away. It's the last song of the night, thank goodness.
Yeah. And you just get through.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things like. I've mucked around one of the other bands we were doing, like foot drums and stuff, and it's the thing is like, it's great until the wheels fall off, and if the wheels fall off, man, they fall off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've had amps explode on stage and all sorts of stuff catch fire.
I'm not surprised, man.
Yeah.
I can still hear the last Gwyn gig I went to.
Yeah, what was that? I'm a bit deaf.
Yeah. Oh, like B.B. King, what's the story, man?
Okay, my first gig in the Czech Republic was in 2001, I think, with B.B. King. And I had Trapper on drums. He plays with Chris Finnan and Shelley.
He used to work at Holden Hill, yeah.
Yep, he still does.
Still does? There you go.
Yeah, I get my deals from Holden Hill.
Yep. Wow.
And that was my first gig in Czech Republic. But before that, he was staying in a hotel. He came to town. This was 90. And I really wanted him to sign my Strat. I've got a 1961 Stratocaster. It used to belong to Mick Taylor from Fraternity. With Fraternity with Bon Scott and Jim Barnes and Swanee and all sorts of people in Fraternity. But I've got Mick's guitar back in England. And Rory had signed it. He was the first guy I got to sign it back in 91. And since then I've had a lot of people sign it. Anyway, I wanted to get BB's signature on it, and he was in Melbourne, staying at a hotel down the road. So I rang the hotel and I said, "Oh, can I talk to Mr. King, please?" "Yeah, yes."
First surprise.
Put me straight through. "Yeah, boy, I can,
Yeah,
you know, I can meet you." So he said, "Be in the lobby at 1 o'clock or something." I don't know. Anyway, I couldn't get a car park anywhere, and I got there late.
Double park, man. Park in the street. What are you talking about?
He'd gone.
Oh, no.
So I drove back home. I thought, I'm going to try it again. So I rang again. And he said, "Are you that guy?" You know, I just signed a guitar. I said, yeah. He said, "You were late." And I said, "I know, traffic was so bad. I'm so sorry." And he said, "Come on back." He said, "But don't be late." I said,
I'm leaving now.
yeah, I
sleeping.
jumped in my van and I found the park and I got in there and he was there. And as he was signing it, he said, "I've got to give you some advice." And I said, "What?" He said, "You got to be punctual." Don't
Are
be
you?
late. No, not really. Another time, Louisiana Red came from the States and did a tour, and he was playing at the Corner Hotel. So I went down there for sound check, and this is another opportunity I blew. He was there, and I met him, and he said, "Why don't we jam?" And I said, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." He said, "Let's go back to the hotel." So we went back to the hotel, and somewhere there's a tape, I don't know where it is, but I was jamming with him for a couple of hours, just on slide guitar. And Louisiana Red, you know, I mean, what a guy. He said, "I like that Johnny Winter stuff you're doing." I remember him saying that, and he gave me a slide. Mm-hmm. He said, "This used to belong to Muddy Waters." Gave me this slide, and I still got it.
Yeah.
Somewhere. And then he said, "Come, I'll get you up to play tonight at the gig." So it was at the Corner Hotel in Richmond, Melbourne. It was so late, I went to get a drink, and he'd called me on stage, and I didn't hear him.
Oh, what?
He was using my guitar. I lent him a Stratocaster.
Yeah. Fuck.
I know.
Oh.
I know.
Jeez.
I know. And he's passed away now too. So,
Adventures, man.
yeah.
I'm jealous. You've had these adventures in music, man.
But I think you just got to get off your ass and go to places. You know, you've got to go where there's a music scene, you know.
Well, you're touring Australia at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, I just started the other night. I got some gigs.
Poor Gwyn, man, I feel bad. He's jet lagged as arse.
I got some gigs, man.
He hasn't slept. He's stuck in Poxy Loberthal with the horrible Christmas lights.
Yeah, they're a bit. I remember these from a long time ago.
Yeah, you know,
I've got my new album out called Mojo Soul.
So there you go. Check that out, folks. We'll put links and
I think
links
it's
to.
Recorded here in Adelaide during COVID.
Yeah, right.
It's a one-man band album. I recorded a whole bunch of songs at that stage with different people.
Yeah. There's your resonator in there,
It's my 1930 National that I leave here in Australia.
right? Nice.
Bit different to this one.
Yeah.
Mine's falling to pieces, but yours is good, and I'm not used to playing good guitar.
No, you love the oldies, eh?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're touring Oz. If you're saying before, like, go where the music is, what do you like? Which state do you like? You know, I'd probably get killed for saying this, but
Well, it just depends what's going on. I mean, I think Melbourne's a very thriving place.
yeah. Well, apparently there's more gigs in Melbourne than
I've
the
got a
rest
whole
of
bunch
Oz,
in Melbourne.
Combined. So
Yeah.
it's the place for music. Whether
Yeah,
that's
Melbourne's
blues or
great.
not, I'm not sure, but.
I got booked to play the Agnes Waters Blues and Rock Festival, Jazz Blues and Rock Festival. That's in Queensland.
Yeah.
On I can't even read this because I need glasses.
Yeah, same, man. I was looking at when you give it to me, and I'm like, man, how does he read that?
And I'm MCing it too. I'm there for 3 days.
You're the man.
I've got 2 shows at it, and I'm
Yeah, MCing.
MCing the end of February. But I've got a few. I got the Gilbert Street Hotel here in Adelaide on the 12th of January. I want to see you all there.
Yeah, folks. Man, if any local, actually, well, there's so many dudes on this channel from all over the joint. We might get some from New South Wales. Now I know there's one dude who's always saying about coming over to New South Wales, so you can catch him when he's over there. Get out and see this dude, guys.
Yeah, I've got some shows. Macclesfield, Three Brothers Arms. I've got a treat.
With John, man, good pub.
Yeah, on January 10. Yeah.
So cool, man. What else we need to do?
Well, I got a new album coming out
All right. Like the album.
Called Grease Bucket. Still.
Is this what you were playing before? On the Stinger?
Yeah.
Ah, I've heard this, man. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a trio album. I've got Paul Wheeler from Icehouse on drums, bashing away. He's great. Probably one of the best drummers of all time in the rock and roll business. And Chris Lambton on bass, Andrea Dawson on backing vocals. I put this little sort of collaboration of musicians together, community I should say, during COVID, because I got stuck here for 3 years. I had a 3-month tour back in 2019. I was promoting an album, Sonic Blues Preachers, I did with John Freeman from Fraternity and Mickey Finn, the drummer. Came out to do a tour, 60 dates, I got 57 down, and then the borders closed, lockdown, bang, what are you going to do? So I met Andrea and we put this little studio together in in the spare room in the house.
Yeah.
And she's a fantastic singer, and we co-wrote an album together, 16 songs. We've got all sorts of people, Matt Taylor, Chris Finnan, and a fellow in England who played on 2 of my albums, Don Airy from Deep Purple. He's on, I can't remember what he played, piano or organ on one song of Andrea's, and on another rock song of mine which hasn't been mixed yet. So I'm working on like 10 albums of stuff. So the pace isn't slowing down at all, man. No. And during COVID, the studio in Glenelg, Shipwreck Studio, and they asked me to come in and do a live stream things. A session on resonator guitar and lap steel, it's up on YouTube, of Rory Gallagher songs. Then I sent it to Donald Gallagher, Rory's brother.
Is this stuff all on your channel?
It's on, well, this is what I'm getting to. And Donald sent me an email back saying we'd like to use your video to celebrate Rory's birthday on the Rory Gallagher YouTube channel. So
sweet. So we can find it there?
Yeah, so it's up there.
Cool. We'll put the link on the bottom of this.
And I'm remixing it because he's given me permission to release it as an album as well.
Cool.
It's been quite a fruitful
life
so far.
And still
and I still
aiming
feel,
up, man.
Yeah. I still
gigging
feel
like
there's more to go. You know.
That was interesting. I was talking before. I think a lot of people get the impression that once you start rolling along, you don't have to look for gigs anymore, and it all just flows, and everyone's knocking on your door. And
well,
it's just not how it is it?
For the lucky ones.
Where is that point, man? You know?
Yeah. Well, I find it easier to get work interstate than in Adelaide.
Yeah.
There's a lot of local booking agents who kind of monopolise that they do it a little bit differently than they do in Europe. In Europe, any agent can book into any room.
Okay.
Because the booking agents represent the bands. So if you have a fallout with an agent, or you just need to move on to somebody else.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you those venues.
No.
Yeah.
And so, but here in Adelaide, I've noticed there are a handful of booking agents who have their acts and their venues.
Yeah.
And if you don't fit into what they want out of an entertainer or whatever, you can't work 30 gigs in town.
Yeah.
It's just like is that legal? Is it moral? I don't know. I'm not going to judge that. And so I approach various places around town. I just want to be one of the local guys when I come back to Adelaide. You know?
Yeah.
I just want to go and play my stuff in a pub. We got such and such agent. Well, they're not going to book me. They've got enough people on their books.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple of comments where it'd be good to get somebody a bit different in. We get the same kind of thing all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Once it starts getting to that sort of stereotypical thing, then you don't fit the mould and you're not in. But the trouble is that venue ends up being the same old as well.
Yeah, and it's like it can be like background singers and for people talking.
Yeah. Well,
like, hey,
that's pretty common as well, man. Like
I know. It's a worry. I mean, I go to places where I used to play in 1980. I went to one place one night and there was a duo playing, where it used to be loud rock and roll bands, and they were doing Stuck in the Middle with You or something, and it's just like, oh, good grief, really?
Yeah, you can see why the crowd's not interested.
Yeah, huge TV screens and pokies and all that crap, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this place, you know.
Yeah.
And I love going to those gigs, but I just hate the pokies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I played one the other week. I've never seen a fucking screen so big. I think I've got radiation burns off the screen.
Yeah.
On the side, you know.
And it's just a shame, you know, that there are places where where original based acts can play, but it's got to be door deals, and they've got to bring all their friends and family, and being a working musician in this town is really difficult.
Yeah.
Just like you go to America and you're on some circuit and you can just be a working musician. You play a few covers, a few of your own songs. Doesn't matter what you play as long as you've got the vibe going.
Yeah.
And you can be a working musician. Here it seems you really need to be doing the cover thing. But because I don't live here anymore, I just grab a few gigs now and then where the cover guys play, and I just do my thing, and nobody gives me a hard time for playing my own songs. So I really don't believe it.
No, I don't either.
You know, I think it's.
I get if the venue's audience is so trained that the person's a jukebox, then you'll get it. Then it'll be, oh, can you play Christmas?
Yeah, some places are just hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most times, man, once people know you're writing your own songs, one, they're amazed that you write a song.
Yep.
That's really weird, I find. It's like, did you write? Yeah, I write all them songs. What? You know, like, that's the reaction. It's odd now that people write their own songs, and I think, I wish more people would write songs, man. It's like, to me, I compare it to an art gallery. I don't want to go to an art gallery and it's all Campbell soup paintings by different people.
No, you don't want to see the Mona Lisa repainted, do you?
Yeah,
really.
You know, I want to see someone contributing to that in their way, you know, and bringing shit forward.
It's all interpretation is good, but just cloning is. I went to the Emu one night in Morford Vale, and I saw one of the young guitar guns. Great. I mean, we've got so many good players in Adelaide. Yeah. So many good players. And a handful of people in there, you can fit hundreds.
Yeah.
And there was a Canadian guy in the audience and me. That was it, I think.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the night. And he was playing a couple of covers. Well, he was playing covers. And the Canadian guy, play one of your own songs. And so he did. And it was great. And I thought, clap, 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 you know, all that stuff. Play another one, and he didn't want to. He just went back into his cover do set. And it's just like, well, you got people here that really want you to
will
do
listen.
this. Yeah. Maybe you get in trouble for playing your own stuff. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I've been staunch on it. Like, it's just what I do, and now I'm starting sort of getting on for it. And I don't know. I seem to be getting better gigs now, slowly.
That's good.
Where people are really liking it and listening, starting to listen, starting to know some of the songs now. You know, probably need to do albums and stuff so people can start to know the songs more. But.
Well, I think the way the land lies at the moment, I think you've got to put out singles and just do a good video and wait out a single and get as many.
Sort of.
If you're releasing yourself, if you're a DIY musician, you need a big database of network.
Yeah.
Contacts, media and press.
Me and this bloke have been talking for hours all after bloody noon.
My mouth is falling off.
Yeah, poor guy's jet lagged, just got here from Europe. He's touring Adelaide at the moment, and if we can get him some more venues out there interested in getting some more gigs, you're pretty keen at the moment?
There's a little bit of
bit of leeway.
Yeah.
I've mentioned a couple of you guys out there, but if we can get some more, that'd be cool. And we'll get him to play something off the new album. And you guys can check him out. This is the new album. What's that album? That's not the new one, is it?
Mojo Soul. Yeah, that's the latest one.
That's the latest one that's out.
Yeah.
And we're going to chuck links to all his stuff. We'll chuck links to your channel and Spotify.
Fantastic.
Or whatever.
Thanks for having me on. It's been great.
Hey man, it's been fun. All from a little advert. Play some tunes, fella.
Okay, I'm going to play a song that I wrote 5 o'clock in the morning. I've been, as I mentioned before, been touring Europe for a long time with a lot of my heroes, you know, and one is the great Mick Taylor, and from the Stones, and I caught up with him at a gig in England, and he mentioned he was going to do a tribute show with a whole bunch of guest musicians to Jack Bruce from Cream, of course, and jazz bass player. And so I asked him if I could come along, if I could get on the guest list or whatever. And he said no, but it was like $600 a ticket. I mean, it was a big show.
Yeah.
And he said, but if you like, you can be my guitar tech.
Yeah, cool.
And so he said, you got a Les Paul? I said, yeah. And Les Paul guitar, you know, Gibson. And he said, I've broken my switch. Can you bring yours along and I'll play it? And he actually wanted to buy it off me, but I
right.
to him. But I was really excited about this, and I drove 3 hours back to the house, and 5 o'clock in the morning, and I just wanted to write a song, so to try and get in, because Mick played on Exile on Main Street and Sticky Fingers and all those great Stones albums from the late 60s, early 70s. So I wanted to try and capture some of his spirit.
Yeah, cool.
That Raikuda era, he was playing with them as well. So.
Washing my blue heart, washing it clean, washing my blues down the stream, washing my blue heart till there's no sign of the stain she left behind. Cool, cool water, fresh from the hills, fresh from the mountain stream. Cool, cool water, I need to chill, I need to let off some steam. Well, blue is the color of what's going down, what's going down to the sea. Blue is the color that drowns the blue of yesterday's me. Cool, cool water, fresh from the hills, from the mountain stream. Cool, cool water, I need to chill, I need to let off some steam. Just like that. Well, blue is the color of what's going down, what's going down to the sea. Blue is the color that drowns the blue of yesterday's me. Cool, cool water, fresh from the hills, from the mountain stream. Cool, cool water, I need to chill, I need to let off some steam.
thank you.
I'm fucking glad you dropped by. It was awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Alrighty.
Cool.